Hey, won't waste too much of your time. Just going to tell you that you probably should pick up Rachaad White because we're looking at Bucky Irving asking for a second opinion on his injury, which means he's almost definitely going to be out for week 5, if not longer. Second opinions are very rarely good. Sometimes getting the second or third opinion will, get stave off injury or surgery rather. But whatever the case may be, it doesn't seem like this is great news for Bucky Irving, which is a bummer because I have some Bucky Irving across some of my dynasty leagues, and I'm sure you have him in dynasty or redraft. Now, there's no time to waste. Go get Rachaad White immediately. He is a must-add. I'm not doing a full waiver wire breakdown right now as I do this, but I'm telling you that Rachaad White is the guy you're going to want on your roster. He's been the number 2 guy. Like, he's still been getting work, like 24+% of the snaps every game this year. He had a 13+ fantasy point outing back in week 2 against the Texans. Looked really good in that game. He has not like run super well in the last 2 weeks, but he's certainly been active as a receiver lately. 4 catches for 29 yards last week. This week in particular, well, 2 things. Number 1, a lot of people are hyping up Sean Tucker. Rightfully so. I think Sean Tucker is a very good explosive runner. Certainly showed that against the Saints. I believe it was last year. But really, he did nothing else beyond that. Like, I like Tucker. I think he's a fine stash. I think he also is a good add. He's certainly going to be more available in redraft leagues than Rachaad White is going to be. But for this week in particular and long term, I still think Rachaad White is the add. He's getting more work than Sean Tucker. He's the better player than Sean Tucker, and also just a little bit more dynamic than Sean Tucker. So even if you don't really trust in his efficiency as like a true runner, which I think, there's a debate to be had there, I think Rachaad White is the better fantasy option. He's only going to be out there in about 43% of leagues. This is using sleeper. So, I think sleeper players in general tend to be a little bit, sharper than other platforms. Don't take offense to that. It's just the reality. And I recommend playing at sleeper in general. I like it above all the platforms. But like if you're playing at ESPN or Yahoo, I would not be shocked if the percentage of availability for Rachaad White is a little bit more. Obviously, he brings more value to the table in full PPR, but I still think he's a nice pickup regardless. I think, the excitement around getting him is, number 1, he's probably going to be the guy who's going to come in and take those snaps if Bucky Irving misses a lot of time. And then also you're looking at specifically this week, a really good matchup in terms of the production the Seahawks are giving up to the running back position out of the backfield for pass catching. Now, they do a good job against running back straight up. They are, I think, top 10 in terms of rushing yards allowed to the running back position on the year, and they've given up 0 rushing scores. So Rachaad White may not have a lot of running room on the road against Seattle in this game, but they're giving up a ton of receiving yards to running backs, and that is what he does. So whether you buy into the Buccaneers being a plus 160 dog in this game, or the game flow benefiting Rachaad White, I think that probably is going to be the case. But also the Seahawks are just not very good in general at stopping the pass catching back. So Rachaad White is an immediate add. I'm mentioning him first because he is a lot less likely to be available. So the other guy is going to be Emari Demercado. Not at all the talent that Rachaad White is. He's not as appealing, not a guy you'd really normally race to go get. But Trey Benson just got put on IR. And obviously James Conner, busted up his ankle. He's out for the year. So now we're looking at Emari Demercado and Michael Carter. So I don't think he's going to for sure be like the guy, right away or anything. But Benson's going to be on the shelf for a bit here. So we're looking at probably a 4-week run. The matchups are not great. He's on bye in the 4th week. Well, that's not true. This is the first. Yeah. So that is true. The 4th week, he's not going to be useful. I don't know how excited we're going to be using him against Green Bay or even Indianapolis. But at least for week 5, for this week, the matchup against the Titans is very, very good. The Titans are, let me check it out real quick. Yeah, it's like bottom 5. Yeah, bottom 5. They're the 4th worst defense at stopping running backs in general. 4th most fantasy points per game allowed to the position. They've given up the most rushing scores to the position. So I don't think we're looking at like for sure like gobs of volume here necessarily, because Arizona is just a really tough offense to predict in general. But if they do end up giving him the majority of the touches, you could be inheriting a James Conner type situation where He gets a lot of looks, and volume is king. So even if you don't believe in him as a talent, I don't really personally, but it just role and opportunity is such a big deal in fantasy. So these are the two big pickups right now. I mean, running back is so thin across the board. Like you can't find really good stable guys to pick up in redraft and feel good about. But right now, these two guys look amazing, and I would blow a lot of fob to go get them. All right, that's going to do it for me. Usually this is a DFS channel, so if you want help for DFS, which, by the way, these guys are 4.7K at DraftKings. They're really good plays for week 5. But if you want advice for what to do with them and everything else for DFS this week, in particular at DraftKings, hit up our channel. We'll have a main slate video. We have one already up for the Thursday night football game. And of course, if this helps you out in any way, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and also come join us in Discord. Thanks for watching, and good luck this week.